Newsfirst, NEWSLINE with Faraz, Shauketaly.
And a very good evening to you. This is NEWSLINE Live. And my guest this evening is Mr. Sujiva Senasinghe from the SJB. And he's right here with me. Good evening to you, Sujiva.
Good evening.
It's nice having you on the program.
Thank you.
And we appreciate the fact that you've turned up. Now then, straight away, I'd like to ask you, what about this letter that has been issued by the United National Party under the signature of Akhila Viraj Kariwasan, who is the party's General Secretary?
Yeah.
He says that he's going to take action against those who have been nominated from another party without the permission of the United National Party.
Why does he need a letter? I haven't seen this letter, but I think I did a press conference today.
Yeah, we got it on the web.
Yes, so I heard that there's a letter, but we haven't seen the letter. But Mahindananda Aludgamage knew that there was a letter about 5 days ago when I was with him in a program.
Right.
So we didn't know that they know. Rajapaksa clan, they knew about the letter.
Okay.
And anyway, they don't need a letter. If they need to take action, they could have taken action, and they can't take action because...
Why do you say that? Why can't they take action?
It is a working committee which decided that Samagi Janabala Vegaya must be formed,
right,
and the leader should be Sajith Premadasa, and the secretary should be Ranjit Madhumanda, General Secretary.
Right.
And we adhered to the decision taken by the working committee, and we have moved forward with the decision taken by the working committee.
Yeah.
And anybody who has not confirmed with the working committee decision is the Akhila Viraj Kariwasan, Ranil Wickramasinghe, and Ravi Karunakarla and the clan.
Right.
So if any action should be taken, it should be Mr. Wickramasinghe and the other MPs who are with him for not adhering to the decision taken by the working committee.
So why is it in that case, Sujiva? Why didn't you all think of taking action against them for when they gave their nominations? They also broke the working committee rules.
I know that is a very good question. We didn't want to take action because the general public will take the action that is necessary in the upcoming elections.
Right.
And they will be brought down to about 3 or 4 seats maximum all over the country. So automatically the people will take care of the decision.
Back in October 2018, when the constitutional crisis, if you recall that, the opposition was all united, and Mahinda Rajapaksa was given a terribly torrid time.
Yeah, through the courts, but
yes,
the courts
but the entire opposition was as one.
That's right.
Now, imagine the scenario if the entire opposition was as one now.
But we have been as one for a long time with Ranil Wickramasinghe, 26 years. And we have been losing with Mr. Wickramasinghe for 26 years.
So it's taken you 26 years to divorce yourselves from Mr. Wickramasinghe?
It took people like us. And we have actually sacrificed our political...
Are you 26 years old?
No, I mean, we were there for 10 years. I have been fighting with the system.
Right.
And there were 65 people who tried to oust Ranil Wickramasinghe, and they were ousted from the party. And it is only myself and Ranjit Madhumanda and a couple of others who managed to get him out finally.
Right.
And we have been losing. It's because of Ranil Wickramasinghe and the decision that he has taken for the past 26 years. And no UMP leader has lost for 26 years. Before 94, we had been in the opposition only for 5 years maximum.
Right.
DS, Dudley, JR, John, Premadasa, Gamini, Lalit, all of these leaders, they have come back to power after 5 years. But
right,
after Wickramasinghe had taken over, we had been in the opposition for 26 years.
Right.
And 3 times he had bought a common candidate without him contesting. So what sort of a united group are you talking about with that sort of defeats in the party?
Right, I'll come back to that in a moment. On NEWSLINE Live, we encourage you to send us your questions by SMS. So if you send us an SMS on 0772 300 305, we'll get it right here. Try not to telephone this number, won't you? Now then, so it's taken 26 years.
26 years we have been in the opposition.
And
under him.
What is your plan? What is your action plan to ensure victory?
So we have got a good team together,
right?
Led by Sajith Premadasa, General Secretary Ranjit Madhumanda, and we have a very talented crop of young politicians, and I could say that it's a clean team as well, and we have got a very good team together. And with that team, we have a plan for the future. We have an economic plan.
Well,
And
what is your economic plan?
our economic plan is to actually post-COVID, or you want the main
No,
plan?
no, after the elections.
After the
whatever.
elections, a lot of damage repair had to be done, and already we have to start all the companies, including your companies. Probably you know how much the companies have suffered, and they have paid.
Yes, but what's your what's your detailed action plan?
Detailed action is you must start manufacturing back in the country.
Right.
And if you don't start manufacturing, and then most of the raw materials, 95% of our industries use raw materials which are imported from abroad.
Right.
And down, they have stopped raw materials being brought from abroad.
Well, actually, they've stopped sort of luxury items.
No, they have stopped everything.
Right.
None of the items are coming, because I had a meeting with the exporters.
Right.
And they say most of the items, the raw materials that they need for production, cannot be
It's
brought
stuck.
down. And that is because the dollar, they're scared that the dollar would go up to about 220 if they allow the imports to come in. You can't be scared. You can't be kind of closing down the country and being scared that the dollar might reach 220 and not let the raw materials come into the country.
Right.
If the raw materials don't come into the country, the production will stop. If the production stops, the income will stop. If the income will stop, the tax income will stop. And
Right.
then the people will be out of work and they won't have employment. So this is what they haven't had a plan. The president didn't have a plan, and they have been reactive, not proactive. So we are in this mess at this moment. And you must very quickly allow the raw materials to come in and start all the companies to start producing again. Unless you do that, we are going into a very bad situation.
What about this issue of the welfare payments, the Samudri money?
Welfare also, payment also, actually, government didn't have a clue what they were doing. Earlier they said they'll give a
Right,
package.
let's put it this way. The 5,000 rupees. First of all, is the 5,000 rupees, should it be given without the involvement of politicians?
Definitely, especially because the politicians shouldn't get involved. At this juncture, definitely politicians should not get involved because of the election laws.
Right.
And there's an election. So politicians have no part in distributing welfare items to the general public. And that had been decided by the election commission as well. And coming back to the welfare, it's just 5,000. They said it's 20,000 package they give to each household, at least about 3 million people.
Right.
But you see, they only gave 5,000.
Right.
And the next 5,000 also they planned, but they made sure that they didn't have to pay that 5,000 as well. And what family, Shauketaly, you know, how can somebody survive with 5,000 in this day and age?
So how much do you think is should be paid?
At least 15,000, at least 20,000.
But where are you going to get the money for to pay that?
They say that they have got
No,
230 billion.
forget what they say.
No, country must get. No, if I'm in government, I know where the money comes from.
Okay, but
because
your plan is 15,000.
my plan is because they have actually not collected the VAT. They have suffered about 415 billion loss.
Right.
So that's 450 billion. And if you give 5,000 to 1 million, it's 5,000 million. That's about 5 billion. And if you give it to 2 million,
How
it's 10
long
billion.
would you give the 15,000 for?
Sorry?
For how long would you give the 15,000?
Just one payment. They have got
Oh,
only
one
5,000, or maybe 3 payments, 5,000 into 3 of first 5,000 and then 10,000. They have to come out of it. They have to pay their bills. This is now the difficult times.
Yeah.
And even if you pay 3 million,
Yeah.
it's if you pay 5,000, it's 15 billion.
Right.
And if you pay 10,000, it's 30 billion. And what they lost through the tax decision that they took was 450 billion. And then they have got 230 billion, but they say they haven't got the money. But the IMF and the World Bank says they have got the money.
But Sajiv, with all due respect, that's what they are doing. I'm asking you, what's your plan?
My plan is, if I'm in government, I can't do anything in the opposition.
No, that's right.
But if I'm in
we are
government,
just about to have elections.
but if I'm in government, so I should be in government. I can't have a plan without being in
No,
government.
no,
if
you
I'm
must
in
have a
government.
plan so that you can sell the plan to the people.
That is what I'm telling you. Not being in the opposition, I can't do anything in the opposition. But if I'm in the government,
But in opposition is a good time to research everything.
So I have done that.
And-
I have done that.
Right.
So once we come into
then-
power,
So when you come into power,
Wait.
why don't you share with us how you will fund finding 15,000?
the loss that they made in the in actually giving away the tax benefit on VAT, the 450 billion.
Yeah.
And we brought it up because it's about only 11% the tax income. It should be 20% out of the GDP.
Yeah.
So, but we collect only 11%, so 9% get away from the tax net.
Yeah.
So you have to collect another 9%, and we managed to collect another 4%. It was about 15%
Yeah.
out of the GDP. So another 5% must be collected. So you make sure that the authorities work hand in hand and collect that 5% as well. So we need 20%, and that's about almost about 1,000 billion.
Now, the people are saying that your government didn't pay the fertilizer bill.
We paid the fertilizer bill,
But the fertilizer people are saying, look, we were not paid, so we didn't bring any more fertilizer.
Not at all. We paid the fertilizer bill, but the fertilizer bill on that day of the election, we can't pay that bill. So any government changes for about 2 months, I think you have certain bills, and the government has to pay. And they have income for that as well. They are not talking about the income, no, the tax income they collect, and out of the tax income you have to pay the bills which have not been paid. You can't pay the bill.
So what have they done? If they haven't paid all this money, they must be having a surplus. How have they paid?
No surplus at all. It's actually bankruptcy government. This government doesn't have any money. Your income is about 2,000. Government's income is about 2,000 billion. But the forecast is that they might collect about 600 billion end of this year. And no tourism. So no plan for the future, no manufacturing, and all the companies are waiting for their raw material, and no transportation. People can't come to work. So where's the plan? So you have to, and what has happened to Corona also? They said after 40 days, the Corona will be eradicated totally. And that also had not been eradicated. So we are starting from the same place again.
Right.
And then are we going to make a lockdown for another 2 months?
Right.
Or are we going to open the country? We have to open the country. There's no choice now. So the government is in a situation, they don't know what to do. And they haven't had a plan. And the president was using the army on the curfew. And after that, what is his plan? He doesn't have faith in the ministers. He doesn't have faith in the Rajapaksa clan. So I don't know what he's planning to do. And we are in a very difficult situation at the moment. No income, no tax income, and no manufacturing.
You sure you want to come into power now?
We like challenges. We like to take it on, and within about 1 year, we start production and we start manufacturing in the country. And when my government was in power, I was the state minister for international trade.
Yeah.
And under my leadership, we brought the national export strategy, and we managed to improve the exports as well. So you have to have a plan, and you have to get into, after garments, you have to get into electronic items manufacturing. For Sri Lanka, what is most important is the location. So you have to make use of the location and improve the infrastructure, and then make sure that the industrial zones crop up around the country. And there were plans, and there were actually foreign companies who wanted to come to Sri Lanka.
Right.
So you have to initiate that and make sure that you give them a very good platform in the country, bring peace and stability and democracy. And,
what's your take on the relaxing of inward funds, the special foreign currency accounts?
That's a good policy, but then you have a bit of a doubt why they did that, because there was a speculation before 2015. There's a lot of money had been taken by the politicians, by one family. They have taken it abroad.
Yeah.
So this is the ideal situation for them to bring that money and make it white also. So we wonder.
But it was your government that did away with the Exchange Control Act and replaced it with the Exchange Act.
Yeah, but we had a certain amount of restrictions bringing foreign currency, and there was actually a very good mechanism. If you bring the currency, you must prove how you got the currency as well. It was not just a blanket approval for anybody to bring any money into the country.
Let's go for a short break, Sajiva, and we'll be back after this short break.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
Government and opposition representatives pay their final respects to deceased Minister Arumugam Tondaman. Discussions held with the Prime Minister regarding the future of the Ceylon Workers' Congress. Debate on the date of the general elections heightens further.
ජනයාගේ සර්වජන ඡන්ද බලය පාවිච්චි වීම කල්දම තමා ඉන්න ඒකට අපි විරුද්ධ බව අපි මැතිවරණ කොමිසමට ඉතා තදින්ම කිව යුතුයි.
DMC warns general public to gear up to face delusions amid COVID-19. 35 Seychelles nationals arrived in the country to promote medical tourism, Dr. Channa Jayasumana claims.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
And welcome back to Newsline. We're with Mr. Sujiva Senasinghe. Now then, Sujiva, the 15,000 people are saying that that might not be possible.
To give the 15,000, no.
Yes, to give the 15,000.
The government is saying.
There's several messages from the public who say that it is the Treasury simply doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
What is your plan? Do you have an action plan? 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, we would have made sure that we got some money from abroad, and there are the World Bank and the IMF, and you can, because this is a difficult time, and even China, they said that they pledged some money to Sri Lanka. And if you get 30 billion, I think that's enough to give 10,000 or 15,000. So that's a must. How do you expect that? Because people didn't choose to stay at home. It is the government who told the people to stay at home.
Somebody is saying to us, thank you for your questions, by the way. When the country needs foreign exchange badly and the funds come in via the banking system, on what basis can you stop such funds coming?
In the sense, come again?
Now, the funds coming in are coming in through the banking system. It's not coming in suitcases.
The funds from abroad?
From abroad, yes.
Right.
So on what basis are you going to stop it from coming? You can't stop it.
In the sense, I don't get it. It is the restrictions that have been lifted, or
the restrictions have now been lifted.
Right.
You can send any money.
Right.
Sri Lanka is now not on the grey list. They've taken us off that, and so how are you going to stop money coming in?
You mean the general public?
Your new government.
So the general public sending money back to the country?
Not the general public.
Then foreign
investment. FDI, people who want to take advantage of the new rules.
We are not going to stop. We are not going to stop. We are going to encourage.
Right.
But make sure to find out where that money is coming from.
You're going to have some checks and balances for
it can't be rogue money. It can't be black money.
Right.
So you have to check. You have to have checks and balances. But we just definitely welcome the money coming into the country.
At the time when the Exchange Control Act was replaced, there was some reasonable speculation that some of the bond money might be coming back that way.
So you have to check if any money is coming back. But how can the money come? Because the 10 billion, the bond money is...
That's only 10 billion. We know that they made far more than that.
Now that is not being proven. It is less than that, 1 billion in the case. So
we'll
can
leave that because I don't want to... The bond is the bond.
Yeah, because any money coming in, just check where the money is coming from. And as you said, if you have a suspicion, shouldn't that be checked where the money is coming from? That's all we are saying.
Right.
Make sure that the money is coming from legal process,
yeah,
and encourage the money to come in. Definitely, we are not going to stop the money coming in. We want the money to come in, and then you have to have a system that it is checked that this is legitimate money coming in.
Now then, somebody is saying...
otherwise, we'll be reprimanded by other countries. The European countries with the have strict laws.
Somebody is asking you, what is your party's stance on pension and age limit for politicians?
I have no
you
thoughts
obviously
about
have no problem because
I know.
You're young.
And it's a democratic process, so I don't know whether you can put an age limit to it, but I prefer if it's 60 or 65 or so, I don't know. But again, it's a democratic process everywhere in the world. There's no age limit for a politician, so I don't know. If they ask my personal opinion,
yeah,
I think the politicians must be the younger crop, but if you have the elections, the people who are chosen by the general public are all the older people. So the general public also has a duty. You don't need rules and regulations. They can choose young guys.
You have a long list of complaints against this government.
Yes.
Right? But what are you all doing about it?
We are making aware the people, and we didn't criticize the government earlier because this was a world crisis, and we supported the government.
There's people who are saying here that unfortunately, unlike the opposition in October 18, that right now the opposition are PCPs. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't know what that.
The PCP is a press conference politician. That y'all are only reduced to press conferences. If it was, for example, Mahinda Rajapaksa
Right.
in the opposition,
Right.
he would have been out on the streets.
No, we don't want to be out on the streets. It's a deadly situation in the country. How do you expect us to be on the streets? And then you'll criticize and say there's a corona crisis in the country, and you're all on the streets rubbing your shoulders with each other and spreading the corona crisis.
Right.
So yeah,
But-
the crisis is a very dynamic situation.
So
It's a-
you're giving some leeway to this government.
Definitely. After this corona crisis, definitely we'll be on the streets, and government doesn't have a plan, and we are going to get into very bad financial situation the country is going to face, and there's no income, there's no plan, and there's no manufacturing in the country. And what are they talking about? They are saying api wavamu api hadamu. And the same theory that they brought in 1971 by Mrs. Bandaranaike, they are talking about it after 35 years. It had been a PA, always agriculture minister, for the last 35 years. And what are they talking about growing in Sri Lanka?
Right.
35 years, what have they been doing? So you have to be right with the people, and you have to be honest with the people.
Right.
And you have manufacturing is a way forward, and it can be agriculture, but not only agriculture. It must be electronic items, electronics, and we need to move into, from garments, we need to move into electronics and electrical items. And for that you have to need
But do you think that any investor, any sane investor, will consider Sri Lanka in a circumstance where the government continuously changes the goalposts?
Definitely.
There is no steadfast policy.
You're
There's
spot-
no action plan.
consistency. There's no consistency at all.
That's
You're
right.
spot on that, and that is a problem. And that is why our ease of doing business standard from 92 it had gone to 110, and during our time it came to 100, and it was improving. So we were making sure that the other institutions are working together so that the ease of doing business standard will come to about 75 or 80. So unless you do that, as you said, so that is consistency. If you don't, the government doesn't have consistency, then we might not have the investments that you're planning about. And we have to have a plan for about 5 years and tell the investors what exactly your plan is. And they'll have some faith in it.
How, Sajiva, is your party going to be taking on Mahinda Rajapaksa? Mahinda Rajapaksa has today completed 50 years since he entered parliament, all those years ago. And he's done all sorts of things, including being the opposition leader, prime minister, president, MP, opposition leader, prime minister, and now prime minister again. So when you're faced with such an amazing statistic, how are you going to take him on?
That amazing statistic is thanks to Ranil Wickremesinghe. And all what you said, all the posts that he has held is while Ranil Wickremesinghe being our leader of the party.
Right.
And that he created Rajapaksas. And with his inability...
So are you saying that Ranil Wickremesinghe is hand in glove with...
not in hand in glove, they are almost like brothers. And not, I think, and his inefficiency also. Taking the party from 94, we have been in the opposition only for 5 years. And he had had a record for keeping us in the opposition for 26 years. And the last one also, Maithripala Sirisena, it was not that we who wanted him to be our presidential candidate, we didn't have another option. And Mr. Wickremesinghe said, I need a common candidate. And this was our result. And finally, Faraz, we
Yes.
managed to get a leader from our party. And this is after 26 years. After 65 people had left and gone and joined Mahinda Rajapaksa.
And even in spite of all that, Akila Viraj is trying to take action against you all.
So you have this sort of crowd, even any party in any country. You have a minority who always wants to pull it down.
Are
And
they a
then,
bit, shall we describe it politely, is Akila Viraj a little bit muddle-headed?
because he had got whatever question he has got from Ranil Wickremesinghe, and his future relies on Ranil Wickremesinghe's action and him being in power as the leader of the party. So we are not like that. It is not, I could have gone and actually helped Mr. Wickremesinghe to get a post in the party. I have never done that. For 10 years I have been fighting with Mr. Wickremesinghe because he is not a suitable leader, and because of him we faced a lot of defeats. And it was high time, long time ago, about 15 years he should have left. So finally we managed to convince the rest of the crowd that he has to leave, and I think even your station, being a unbiased station, has always commented on our party. And if you take the history, you will see what a lot of times that Mr. Wickremesinghe has made blunders. And because of those blunders, what can we do? The leader of the party is the one who takes the party forward. And when he makes blunders, whatever I do, we face defeat. And this time, the first time, we have got a young and nationalism. We
yeah.
were always on the wrong footing with the
So
nationalism.
all of you are entirely focused on ridding yourself from this failure of 26 years.
We have,
Ranil
done,
Wickremesinghe.
we have done that. We have done that, and we have got a very energetic young crowd, and who likes clean politics, and we
But
have
you've got
engaged
this. But you've got this Queen Bee, in the form of Akila Viraj,
No,
who's acting like the Queen Bee, and he's buzzing around you. And
he's not. He's buzzing around probably in the media, but he's not buzzing around in our territory.
Right.
And we don't even take
but
any
he's
notice.
sending you little letters.
No, he has not. I mean, we don't care. He can take, and I challenge
These
him.
letters.
So I challenge him. I'm challenging him, and he has no right to even send those letters.
Yeah.
I challenge him if he can sack me, if you can. And from the party, I'm issuing a challenge. Being the probably I'll be the deputy general secretary.
It reminded me of that song about Muhammad Ali. You know,
Sting.
floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee.
That is me or.
Well, that's that's what he's.
No, so I'm challenging. I'm saying if you can, I am challenging him openly. Take action if you can show that you can take action against me. And anyway, it is not up to him to take action. It is up to us to take action, because what was.
And why haven't you taken that action?
We don't, because the general public will take action for us. And when this election happens, only about 3 or 4 seats they will get.
Right.
And we'll get about 90 to 100 seats.
Do you think that they will then join with you at that time?
Probably the leftovers, the 3 or 4 people who are there, who will get elected, will have no other choice but to join us.
So will that then be the end of Ranil Wickremesinghe?
This is the end of Ranil Wickremesinghe. He's gone. That is the end of, and that was the last nail, because he tried his best at the working committee also to somehow poke his finger in and to be part of our team.
Right.
But we managed to kind of outsmart him.
Right.
And we managed to get him out. And I think I played a vital role in that. For the 10 years I have been always
All right.
at his neck. And we made sure that finally we achieved this, and this is the end of Rajapaksas. This is the start of UMP again. Glory days will be
Glory
in
days
the
to
future.
come.
But no,
Another question from somebody else, maybe the last one. Why cannot the current opposition push for national policies which will be implemented by any elected government, irrespective of party politics?
very good question, and we would love to do that, and that is what we are doing. But it will be national policy by us, and that was what we prepared earlier also, the national export strategy and the national economic policy.
Right.
But it is up to the other politicians from the other parties also to adopt that national policy. And that time we have gone into a lot of depth in it, and we have spent about 6,000 million rupees, about 4 million euros, and that was all donated to us by ITC, International Trade Center. And Harvard also donated about $5 million to us for these studies. And we have completed all the studies with the experts in Sri Lanka. So it is up to, we will help them, and we will probably, the ones which have been created already can be taken forward. But the other parties also must adhere to the national plan and take it forward.
It's a yes or no question. Will you be signing the MCC agreement in its present form?
Not at any form. MCC, we have stated that MCC will not be signed, and we know that it will be signed by the Rajapaksas for sure.
But your government will not sign it.
Our government will not sign it for sure, unless they make drastic changes, total changes in it. Not
that's the
detriment to the
catch.
country.
But that's the catch, because drastic changes, what is drastic changes?
No, without any condition.
Right.
If you get the money
Okay.
as a present.
All right. That's a better answer.
Yeah.
That affords more clarity.
Thank you for getting me there.
Right. No, but because you need to have clarity. You've got to stop misleading the public,
Yes.
and you've got to think public first, people first.
If the general public gets something out of it, and there are no conditions at all,
Yeah.
and if it is going to come as a present form of present, then we don't mind taking it. Otherwise, we would not.
Sudhir Singh, it's been absolutely marvelous having you on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
And keep your distance, keep safe, young man. And on that note, that's the way it was on Newsline Live. Thank you for watching. Take care. Have a great evening. And of course, God bless.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.